Thanks for tuning into Stocks with Antonio. Man, this market just continues to run up and it looks like there's no stopping it. But to be honest with you, it is important to be checking your portfolios. Right now, a lot of you that are watching this, hopefully everyone that's watching this, your portfolios should be looking as green as ever, right? You should be having the most profit in there because we just been running up for weeks. But a pullback will come. Don't try to time it, but just be aware that we'll get a healthy pullback. I'm not bearish for 2026. Don't think I am. I am bullish, but we are due for a pullback. And I just think it's going to be a healthy pullback. Nothing crazy, nothing bad, just a healthy pullback. But what you want to do is have money on the sidelines and take some of those profits that you have and those stocks that you bought that run up. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to buy or sell. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing, what I'm buying, and how it's going for me. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If you do, let me know by smashing that like button and let's get into it. If you've been following the channel, right, you know I made a video not too long ago about Meta. And Meta is, in my opinion, out of the Mag 7, one of the stocks that have been a sleeper. And it's been having good earnings. I know investors are concerned with the AI investing that Meta's doing, but I'm a believer in the future. I'm a believer that companies need to invest in the future or they get left behind. And I'm also a believer that investors and not just people in general, they tend to be negative when a company's doing something that they may not understand or new, right? So they see Meta taking on investing so much money into something, and it's normal for people just to have their doubts and be concerned and things like that. But I think Meta's gonna do what they've done in the past. They're gonna show that the decisions they've been making is the right thing for the company, and that's gonna reflect on their earnings. And their earnings are going to be coming out in July, I believe. Double check that, but I believe their Q2 is going to be coming out in July, and I think the stock is going to run up by then. Now that's just my opinion, right? Could be wrong, but I think that's what's going to happen, and we're getting a little bit of a view of that. It was trading for a while. Meta was between that 600 to 620. It dipped under 600 a couple times, but it's been trading between the 620 and in that range. I know there were a few times that it passed the 620, but it didn't go, I believe, over 625. And now recently we just had a run up. It dropped all the way down to 600 and it ran up to 640, maybe even a little bit over. And now it's pulled back down to 630. But I believe, or no, it closed at 635. But I believe we're going to get to the 700s by July. And if they have good earnings, which I believe they will, because Meta's been obviously having good earnings, but if they show that they're investing in AI is giving them a return, anything positive, this stock's going to pump. I believe it's a $1,000 stock. It doesn't mean it's going to happen in July. I believe Meta will get there at some point in time. It may not even be this year. It may be next year. But if you believe in the company and you believe in what they're doing, and the stock will one day reward you, right? So why not get in it when it's, down, when it's at a good forward PE, while people are considering it undervalued? What happens to us a lot as retail investors when a stock's the price is not pumping like the rest of the market, we sleep on them. And we get FOMO and we buy the ones that are running up and we buy them at all-time highs. And then when the market pulls back, you become a bag holder. So don't just go chasing on the ones that are pumping right now. I know the space sector is extremely hot, but these stocks have really been running up, right? We're going to get a pullback. So don't go and buy it at the top. Well, you can do what you want, but I'm not going to go buying them at the top. The people that are benefiting off these runs are the ones that bought into these sectors and bought into these companies before they run up, and they've been holding it in their portfolio. Now, I get it. Some of you may say, hey, I'm not a long-term investor. I'm just looking to do short-term. Well, if you're wondering about me, I do both. I think it's very important to invest long-term if you truly want to build wealth, but I totally understand about doing some day trades, doing some swing trades, right? Doing things that also makes you money in the short term because, hey, you got to pay yourself now. But if you are looking for short-term opportunities, don't go chasing the top. Hopefully, you already bought your positions in these companies and you're reaping the benefits of these run-ups. And if that's you right now, let us know down in the comments below. Let's celebrate. Let us know you're making some wins, leaving us a W down there so we can see that you're winning in these markets. But some stocks that I'm going to keep an eye on is I'm going to continue to keep an eye on Palantir. Now, this one of my videos I've been talking about, I did call options on it twice because, and I got in early. Hey, sometimes that happens. The trade idea that you have, it's not bad, but sometimes you get in a little bit early. And that's okay, right? This channel is about being honest, and I'll let the viewers know. I got into Palantir early because I believed it was going to close above 138 before today. I thought I was going to do it sooner. And not just myself. There's other uh, individuals that are into stocks that believe that as well, right? They had good earnings. It's a great company. And we thought it was going to make a run up. And finally today we saw that happen, but it didn't happen earlier. So you know what I did? I cut my losses. Sometimes you have to do that because your capital is your tool to invest, to make money short term, to make money long term. So you got to protect it and you got to use a stop loss. And I get it with options. If you do options, the stop loss doesn't work after hours, right? Doesn't work when the market's closed on the weekends. So sometimes if after hours you see things not going well, when the market opens, sometimes you got to be your own stop loss and you got to cut it loose, right? Because again, you got to protect the capital. Because if you're familiar with contracts, if let's say the stock, for example, Palantir is trading at 135 and you go ahead and you get your contract, and let's just say the contract is at that time at $5, right? And you buy a contract, it's gonna be you're gonna say that contract ends up costing you $500. If that stock starts to go down in share price, so let's say it goes from 135 to 130, your contract's gonna have lost a lot of value. So if the share price goes back up to 135, you're gonna see that your contract is no longer worth the same, right? It's no longer worth the same when it gets back up to 135 because it pulled back to 130. So now you're going to need Palantir to go a lot higher just to break even on that call option. And sometimes when that happens, you may buy more option contracts as it's going down, right, to reduce your cost average. You could do that. But if at that point you look at the charts and you say, hey, I got this one wrong, and you're by the charts are now looking signs of it turning around, instead of buying more contracts on the way down, you might have to cut it loose. Because if you buy more contracts on the way down and it doesn't reverse on you, you're just going to get a bigger loss. So you got to manage your trades. And I say that because that's what's important. Everyone that's investing in the stock market, you're responsible for your money. You're responsible for your trades, and you got to manage your own trades, and you got to make those decisions. So I wanted to share that with you because it's important when the market's open and you're out there and you're making decisions with your money. Make sure you're managing those trades. Make sure you're being responsible, and make sure you're protecting your capital. So like I said, I got into Palantir. I managed to trade. I decided what was best for me is to get out, but I still believed in what I was seeing in the charts. I still believed that it was going to run up. So what I decided to do is to get into a 2x. And the 2x for Palantir that I went into was actually, let me look it up because I don't want to give you the wrong ticker symbol in case you're interested and you want to look into it. But it's PLTU, and let me just confirm that because I want to be 100% sure. Yeah. So the PLTU is the 2x ETF of Palantir, right? And I decided to go into that. Now, these 2x's are popular. Probably a lot of you watching this have heard of them. They're not meant to be held long term. So don't put it in your long term portfolio, in my opinion. They're meant actually to be more as a day trade, but you can hold them if you need to for a few days, for a week, because if you got into Palantir, let's say for this example, when it was trading under 138, and right now it's over 140. I believe it closed around 143 after hours. It was at 144. And of course, by the time you're watching this may change. But when I looked at it, those were the levels it was at. If you got in at under 138 and it's going to the upside and you believe it's going to continue to go to the upside, let's say for the next 2 weeks, you can hold it, right? You can continue to hold it. So the good thing about the 2x ETFs, you don't have to be so concerned like you would with an option in that sense. So that gave me a little bit more peace of mind. And since I got in early on Palantir on the move, I decided to get in the 2x. Luckily, I got in at the right time. It ran up today, and I decided to take profits. The reason I took profits right now with how the market's been behaving, that we've been running up for weeks, I don't really want to hold anything overnight or over the weekend. So any of my short-term plays, I'm really honestly looking to get out within the same day or within a very short time period. Meaning I see profit, I take profit. That's what I'm doing right now in these markets. Not because I'm bearish, but because I believe that pullback's going to come. And I don't want to get caught on a trade overnight over a weekend, and then it comes, and then I end up taking a loss, or I end up becoming a back order. So it's just me protecting my capital and how I'm viewing things right now. But Palantir, now it's around 143. That's what it closed at. I believe there's room for the upside, but be careful because it's likely to pull back. So if you're following Palantir, I would wait for a pullback to get in, and I believe it will run higher. So that's a little bit my opinion there on Palantir. Another one that I'm actually really interested in now, and I missed it today, Thursday, but I may be doing this play on Friday, is Hood. Now I know Hood, when they had their earnings, investors were a little bit disappointing in the stock price. You saw it coming down, so Hood was getting punished. But I'm going to share with you why I'm interested in Hood, at least right now for the short term. So Robinhood, the shares they were surging, right, over 11% on Thursday due to the launch of the new Trump account app and rollout. So they came out with that news, and investors liked it, and you can see the share price of Robinhood going up. Now I think this is just a little push that's giving the share price, this news coming out, that can have it run up for a day or two. That's why I'm looking to potentially maybe get into it on Friday. And I'm not going to directly buy the shares of Hood. I'm probably going to buy HOOW ETF, right? That tracks Robinhood. And I'm going to probably get into that play and buy a good amount of shares. And if it goes up $1 to $2, I'll get out of it. So I was just wanting to share one that's on my radar for a short play, and basically my plan with it. Let me know what you thought about the video, right, by leaving me some comments down below. If you haven't done so, show me some love by smashing the like button and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and subscribe to the new channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so, check out the description box. I got a little useful link in there for you. And again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.